The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
Most important lesson, which is probably the most dangerous lesson of all, too. The male ego is the most sensitive and most dangerous thing the world has to offer.
Yes.
So I was very...
Just say that again one more time. Say that one more time.
The male ego is the most sensitive and dangerous thing in the world. Kind of that notion about males, don't cry, they don't have emotion, they just deal with everything internally.
Hello everyone, it's Queen V, and I'm back to you with another video. This video is an update to the Takara Glenn Hightower story. Before I begin, I would like to extend my continued support and condolences to the family at this time as you are continuing the unfortunate grieving process of the loss of your loved one. It has been confirmed that the family of Takara Glenn Hightower has filed a lawsuit against the United States Navy. As previously reported, the mother of 6 was unalived by her Navy recruiter husband, Gregory Hightower, in 2022. In September of 2022, Takara Glenn Hightower was in her home talking with a naval investigator about allegations of DV when her husband barged in, touched, and unalived her. Gregory Hightower then engaged in a shootout with an NCIS officer before being unalived by local law enforcement during a standoff later in the day. According to the Glenn family, back in July 2022, Takara Glenn Hightower contacted local enforcement about being abused by her husband, Navy recruiter Gregory Hightower. No criminal charges were ever filed. Then, a week before Takara Glenn Hightower's unaliving, she filed an abuse complaint with the Navy. This led to the Navy separating the couple for a week, with the suspect being forced to live elsewhere. Family members state that the investigation was ongoing up to the point that Gregory barged into their home and opened fire. It has been confirmed that during the unaliving, Takara was holding their 1-year-old baby in her arms. Takara Glenn Hightower's mother, Cynthia Glenn, stated in part, "I try to stay focused mainly on the kids because that keeps me going. I know that's hard on them because they don't have their mom. I want answers. I want justice for my child." She also informed ABC 13 that she was living in Illinois at the time of her daughter's unfortunate unaliving and dropped everything to move to Texas and is now raising her daughter's children, in which 5 are currently at home while the eldest child is in college. According to the family's attorney, Lori Higginbotham, she stated in part, "They failed to remove the guns. They failed to provide protection to her, And even while she had officers with her, he was allowed to access the home with guns and came in and her. Higginbotham would further state the family filed the lawsuit because they felt the Navy could have protected Takara but failed. Other families like Takara's family need help. When they're seeking help from the Navy and Army, we need to hold them accountable. It won't bring her back, Tamra Glenn, Takara's older sister stated, who is also helping to raise the children. It won't bring her back, but I wanted to bring awareness to anybody dealing with something like this. Now you will watch this brief news clip and I will be back with my commentary.
Family talking only to ABC 13 as they are now suing the U.S. government, saying the Navy did not do enough to protect Takara.
Takara's husband, Gregory, shot and killed her while she was holding their baby in 2022. He also shot one of the Navy investigators who was interviewing Takara over a domestic violence complaint against Gregory. While the family sat down only with our Maya Shea, who is live now in our studio. And Maya, walk us through this family's decision to pursue a lawsuit here.
It was a hard and long decision, but one they finally chose to make. In September of 2022, Takara Hightower was literally in her own home speaking with a naval investigator when her husband barged in, shot, and killed her. Tonight, the grandmother raising the kids and Takara's sister are both speaking out for the first time.
I try to stay focused, mainly on the kids because that keeps me going.
Janitha Glenn fights back tears as she talks about the day her daughter Takara Hightower was killed while holding her 1-year-old baby in her arms.
I want answers. I want justice for my child.
The Glenn family says in July of 2022, Takara, a mother of 6, contacted local police about being abused by her husband, Navy recruiter Gregory Hightower. No charges were ever filed. Then, a week before her death, she filed an abuse complaint with the Navy, which led to an investigation that was ongoing up to the moment her husband barged into their house and opened fire. Laura Higginbotham is the family's attorney.
So they failed to remove the guns. They failed to provide protection to her. And even while she had officers with her, he was allowed to access the home with his guns and came in and shot her.
Higginbotham says the family decided to file a federal lawsuit against the Navy precisely because they felt like the Navy could have protected Takara and failed.
Other families like Takara's family need help when they're seeking help from the Navy or the Army or any military agency. We need to hold them accountable.
Gregory was killed by local law enforcement in a standoff hours after he killed his wife. Now, Janitha is raising her 5 younger grandchildren at home while Takara's sister tries to help out any way she can.
It won't bring her back. It won't bring her back, but I want to bring awareness to anybody that's dealing with something like this.
Yeah, we have reached out to the Navy's Public Affairs Office, and Gina, Eric, we're still waiting for a response. But the family really wanted to get their story out to say, hey, look, no matter what position you are in life, you should be able to get the help that you need so domestic violence doesn't happen to other families.
I cannot begin to imagine the loss that this family is experiencing. Losing a mother, losing a child, losing a sibling, losing a loved one to someone whom you thought you can trust. Takara Glenn Hightower is one of many. The fact that she had the courage to file charges against her spouse, Gregory Hightower, and the implication that the Navy took steps but were not urgent in the crisis speaks volumes. This man is obviously a Navy recruiter, so he knows how to use weapons. I feel like the Navy fell short in certain areas in protecting Takara. But it all comes down to Gregory Hightower's ego. The fact that he unalived his wife while she was holding their baby, their newborn baby, in her arms, it speaks to the character of this Navy recruiter. He could have cared less who was around Takara. In his mind, she had to go. Even if that meant seeing other NCIS officers around her, in his mind, she had to go. And anybody who stood in his way was going to get it as well. This man knew exactly, this monster knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that Takara was finally removing herself away from him. And he took it upon himself to cutting her out. You see, there are persons out here, and I know you guys hate me saying this, but there are literally persons out here who will court you, who will date you, and yes, marry you. Yes, have children with you, but feel like they have the authority over your life, feel like they own you. This monster thought that he owned his wife. So to teach her a lesson, even if it means taking her away from their children, 6 kids, as a thank you for continuing his legacy, as a thank you for bringing life into their household, as a thank you. Instead of him and her parting ways, he said, oh no, you got to go. This is a sick mentality that we have to address. And the fact that he was in the Navy, I don't think they took it as serious. But they came and saw him in real time, how effective he was going to be into harming Takara Glenn Hightower, even if that meant harming their child in the process, harming another NCIS personnel in the process, even if that meant having a standoff with local authority. In his mind, the job was already done. Taking out his wife, taking out his children's mother, because she had the courage to finally walk away. According to the Blackburn Center organization, they have cited that approximately 40% of Black women will experience DV in their lifetime. And unfortunately, 56% of these homicides were committed by a current or former intimate partner. According to the medical journal BMJ, the majority of homicides of pregnant women in the United States are at the hands of an intimate partner with a firearm. And Black women are 3 times as likely to be unalived by their partner around the time of pregnancy compared to white or Hispanic women, according to a study cited in the editorial published in early 2022. According to the Mass General Brigham, Of the 21 million assault-related injury visits, nearly 15% occurs during holiday periods and 85% during non-holidays. New Year's Eve is the highest for IPV, intimate partner violence, and altercations, followed by St. Patrick's Day, Independence Day, and Labor Day. Victims may be more vulnerable to violence due to prolonged or increased contact with family and friends, alcohol consumption, financial stress, or unique challenges during the holiday period. According to the DV Hotline organization, on average, it takes a victim 7 times to leave before staying away for good. Exiting the relationship is the most unsafe time for a victim. It is important for us to listen to our loved ones when they come to us about situations like this. It is not up to us to judge or dismiss. I strongly suggest anyone experiencing this unfortunate occurrence to have a plan in place just in case or when you're ready to leave. I pray for continued healing for these survivors and victims' families at this difficult time. When are we going to actually put into action of protecting Black women? I will leave in the comments and description below for organizations and hotlines as it pertains to DV, in addition to the GoFundMe page for Takara Glenn Hightower. As always, say their names, known and unknown. Protect Black women. Protect Black mothers. Say her name, Takara Glenn Hightower. And as always, please be safe out here, and I will see you in the next video.